Hello and welcome to your news edition. These are the headlines. Following the tragic death of the young Nael killed in Nanterre by the French police during a control, the Algerian Foreign Affairs Ministry reacted and keeps following the case closely. The Great Mosque of Paris asked the youth to make their voice heard peacefully. Six flights carrying our nationals living abroad landed at Ahmed bin Bella Airport in Oran to celebrate Eid al-Adha with their relatives. The authorities work to facilitate the border crossing of the travelers. The foreign students in Algeria reunited to celebrate Eid al-Adha together at the university campus in Jijel. Young students from different countries shared moments of spirituality and in an atmosphere of brotherhood and solidarity. All the international organizations for the human rights watch are urged to take measures against the Moroccan expansionist policy and its violations of Western Sahara territories. A reminder on the occasion of the International Day of Support to the Victims and other cruel treatments. The Algerian government keeps following closely the case of the young man's death, Nael, in France. The Ministry of Foreign Affairs was shocked by the brutal and tragic shot of the young Nael and the suspicious and the unclear circumstances in which it took place. The Ministry of Foreign Affairs expressed its sincere condolences to the family of the deceased and assured them that their grief and pain are shared all over Algeria. Worried about the tranquility and the security that our nationals must benefit in their host country, the ministry trusts the French government to take on its duty of protection. It assured that the Algerian government keeps following this case with great attention and constant concern of being at the side of its national community in times of adversity and trial. The Great Mosque of Paris also reacted. It expressed its sincere condolences to the victim's family. The tragic death of the young Nael that happened during police control aroused our deepest emotions, says the statement. If the incomprehension, the pain and anger are legitimate following such a dramatic event, the Great Mosque of Paris calls particularly the youth not to react with violence and it suggests them to speak up their voice and mobilize peacefully so that the memory of Nael is respected and justice done. On Friday, June 13th, during the Great Prayer in all the mosques of the country, the imams of the Great Mosque of Paris and its federation will convey this message in their sermon. It is the role of a religious institution and men of faith to show that appeasement is the only possible and constructive way to reach the truth and justice. At 17 years old, the young Nael was killed last Tuesday after refusing police control in Nanterre, exactly where the victim lived. Clashes occurred as this tragedy has aroused emotions and anger. Rekindly, by that, the controversy over the response of the police forces. Sabrina Farganit with more details.
Anger took hold across France, in particular in Ile-de-France, following the tragic, deadly shooting of the 17-year-old Nael on Tuesday night. Violent clashes erupted after that tragic event. Indeed, several cars were set on fire, tear gas and fireworks were used, followed by acts of vandalism. Near the district prefecture, fires were lit, which required a strong intervention from the Brigade for Research and Intervention. More than 6,000 protesters stormed the streets of Nanterre as massive demonstrations broke out in several departments in France. Through the signs and loudspeakers, 3 words were mostly repeated: justice for Nahal. Later on, the tension rised, and all of this quickly turned into violent demonstrations. The officer who fired the deadly shot was charged with voluntary homicide and remanded in custody. However, this decision did not deter the protesters from expressing their dissatisfaction with the repeated violence perpetrated by the forces of law and order.
Algeria highly condemns the provocative act of Swedish fundamentalists that burned inside a mosque in Stockholm a copy of the Holy Quran during a gathering authorized by the Swedish authorities, denouncing an irresponsible act and an incitement to hatred. Algeria reaffirms its categorical rejection of this provocative act that occurred during the first day of Eid al-Adha, and says that this kind of repeated act aims to stir up hatred and offend Muslims. Algeria reiterates its call to prioritize the values of forgiveness, dialogue, coexistence, and the rejection of extremism and the respect of all the religions. Ahmed bin Bella International Airport of Oran witnessed on the first day of Eid al-Adha a massive flight arrival, mainly from France and Turkey, carrying out our nationals established abroad, who decided to join their families and celebrate Eid al-Adha. On this occasion, the authorities set several measures to facilitate the border crossing of the travelers. More details with Rania al-Bahri.
Intense activity at the international airport of Oran Ahmed bin Bella, which saw the arrival of 6 flights from France and Turkey, with on-board members of the Algerian community established abroad, who came to celebrate Eid al-Adha with their families, thus reiterating their attachment to their country, Algeria. It has been almost 5 years since we celebrated Eid al-Adha in Algeria. We are very happy to be here. My joy is immense. I came to welcome my nephews who came to celebrate Eid al-Adha with us. I'm very happy to celebrate Eid al-Adha with my family. Several measures have been put in place to guarantee a warm welcome to our fellow citizens and facilitate their passage through the airport. We had no problems. Everything is well organized. It feels good to come back home. We encountered no difficulties. Everything went well. We were very well received and in very good conditions.
1, 2, 3,
With the beginning of the summer season, Oran International Airport witnessed big activity, and this confirms its status as one of the most important airport infrastructures in the country.
Same festive atmosphere of Eid al-Adha is witnessed all across the country. In the province of Jidal, for instance, foreign students of different nationalities were gathered at university residence to celebrate Eid al-Adha, sharing exceptional moments in these religious events. Sabrin Tafarganit.
The foreign students established here in Algeria reiterated their attachment to the religion of Islam. At the Busa Abdurrahman University residence in Jidal province, students created a warm atmosphere for such a special event. Actually, I'm having a good time of Eid here, not feeling lonely at all, even though I'm away from my beloved ones. It's a family and brotherly atmosphere. It's been years since I'm here in Algeria and I've never got homesick. We are very thankful for this special gesture. Hopefully, it will be repeated next year.
On espère que l'année prochaine, on va encore profiter de fêter en famille.
Since several years now, we've been celebrating Eid al-Adha with foreign students. This initiative aims to make them feel home, especially during this period of the year. Special religious occasion like this one is always uniquely celebrated and marked with solidarity and joy, the principles of Islam.
In a press release issued on the occasion of the International Day in support of torture victims and other cruel, inhuman, or degrading treatments, the Sahrawi organizations urged the International Committee of the Red Cross, the UN, and all organizations and international human rights bodies to take measures to counter Morocco's expansionist policy and its human rights violation in Western Sahara. Rania al-Bahri with more details.
Find a fair, equitable, and permanent solution that guarantees the right of the Sahrawi people to self-determination. This is the appeal launched by the Executive Office of the Collective of Human Rights Sahrawi Defenders in Western Sahara, CODISA, which also underlined the importance of the application of international humanitarian law in Western Sahara, considered by the UN as a non-self-governing territory awaiting decolonization. In addition, the organization strongly condemned the practice of torture and crimes against humanity committed by the Moroccan occupying forces. This letter denounced the fact that the Mahsen continues to protect the perpetrators of these acts, which has drawn criticism from international human rights organizations. The CODISA also denounced the eviction of delegates from Amnesty International and other human rights organizations, human rights lawyers, and foreign observers since June 11, 2015, a measure that prevents these people from the travel to the occupied cities of Western Sahara. The Executive Office of the Collective of Sahrawi Human Rights Defenders in Western Sahara condemned the refusal of the Moroccan authorities to put an end to the practice of torture in Morocco and in the Sahrawi territories, calling for the authors of torture acts to be prosecuted.
With this, we come to the end of our edition. Thank you for being with us. Goodbye.